Hello, this is Edgar Wright, and sitting to my left is...
Glen Powell.
And sitting to my right is...
Michael Bacall.
And we are here to tell you some fun facts about the 2025 movie, The Running Man. This is the only part of the film that we did not shoot. Now, as I recall, this scene that we're coming into right here, it's not the first thing that we shot, but it's the first thing that we shot in the studio. This is
the first thing I shot.
Yeah.
I think you shot the supermarket thing before that, right? At Battersea?
I think this was day one.
Well, it's definitely... Oh, yeah, maybe.
I think this was
Very
day
early.
one for me.
Americanos?
Well, I have this theory, and I want you to weigh in, that it's always good to start with something really difficult. And this is a very challenging scene, and maybe, Glenn, you could explain what's challenging about it.
Well, this is the... I mean, not only is it the beginning of the movie, you're obviously establishing a lot, but I'm a father to a 2-year-old. 2-year-olds, this is a very hot set. Everything is very threatening, and Alyssa and Sienna did not enjoy being here in this moment. So this was a lot of finding little moments in between to make sure. I mean, slamming your hand on a desk with a 2-year-old right next to you is just like not a good move. But, you know, we got through it. They were great.
I mean, Michael, I remember thinking, and obviously this is a movie with massive action sequences in it, but I remember thinking maybe with the script of having, you know, the opening scenes with a sick child, being sort of more nervous about this stuff than some of the later action set pieces.
Yeah, it was a bit anxiety-inducing.
It was.
If I recall.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, when we were shooting this first scene particularly, the thing that, I mean, none of us are fathers, but we did have 2 fathers on set in our AD Richard Graysmark and our cinematographer Chung Chung-hoon, who both have kids, and they were so, I mean, and obviously you have handlers and you have the parents there, you have amazing kind of like sort of handlers for the kids, but actually having like, I think the first time the baby cried, I kind of thought, oh, quick, get the dummy instead. And it was like Richard and Chung that said, no, wait, just wait 30 seconds. I guess babies, I realize, are quite mercurial in that they, you know, are very changeable, and like they would be crying their eyes out for 30 seconds and then suddenly you get a great take out of them.
Yeah, you have to sort of wait for it seems inhumane, but you sort of have to just wait for them to do their thing. I will say Chung had the greatest thing. Richard and Chung figured out that if you play the cartoons on an iPad.
Yes.
So half of the time when we're here, there's just an iPad of some
Baby Shark Patrol.
Baby Shark. We're all dancing, the whole crew, Grips, everybody's dancing to Baby Shark.
I was also behind the camera in some of these scenes holding up a big fluffy hamster, because in Speed the Wheel, there's this mascot. And so a lot of the time I was like holding up this massive hamster.
She said 6 toilets.
We should just talk quickly about
Sean Hayes
and Julia
brilliant.
Cumming, like pretty much the only scene of the movie Speed the Wheel where you're not in it.
That's true. It's true. And this is like such an important scene, but yeah, they both ground this thing in such a fun world. I got to see Sean the other night. I mean, it's fun getting to be friends with somebody after you shoot. He's one of the only guys I didn't actually get to work with directly.
We should also, I'm going to come back to Chris Rogers, who's playing Bud there later on in the movie, because there's a fun fact later on. I mean, it was fun. It was also that Speed the Wheel thing was like a whole other, you know, just doing a whole other show in the middle of the shoot, which was a break for you, Glenn, but also for everybody else. It's like we shot that all in one day.
Oh my God.
And it was pretty full on, but it was great. And like the crowd were great. And I don't know, it was wild.
Well, another thing about this scene is, you know, obviously not a father, you know, Jamie Lawson, who's amazing in here, not a mother, but we really felt like we were parents trying to calm these 2 down. And I remember there's one particular cough where Alyssa, I believe, coughed into my mouth.
Directly.
Like 2 days into the shoot, and I was unbearably sick for like the next week of the shoot.
And then
like,
did the same to Jamie
and then Jamie and I both just went down so hard.
I think that this is, I mean, again, we're about to talk about a big action film, but it's fair to say, I mean, Michael, you'd agree with this. This was some of the toughest scenes to kind of like conceive and, just, I mean, at a writing level, but also just in terms of directing it, because, if this scene doesn't work and you don't understand the stakes and you don't understand their desperation, the whole thing falls apart.
It's a load-bearing scene.
Yes. I mean, and something that we continue to work on all the way through the post, just kind of get it right,
Yep.
Oh, Ben, those take forever to make.
No, it was on when we got home. Hold on. It's here.
Those are her comfies, babe.
There were some things here, actually. There were a few things that we did in additional filming to kind of add some extra emotional beats to this, which I think really worked. And actually, I got to say, and this is credit to continuity. So like that's a new shot, for example. There's some really, it's pretty
Seamless.
pretty seamless. We just went from like a shot like 6 months apart there, which was, I mean, it's the good thing about, it's funny, additional photography becomes a dirty word when people use the word, say reshoots. It's always when it's reported in the trades, it's like, oh, so-and-so is having reshoots. But when it's at its best, additional photography, and you get a chance to go in and just kind of like plus something.
It's not a problem. It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity, exactly. And I think this was a scene that was already working well, but had the chance to be better. And I think you guys and you and Jamie just came in and just, dropped in brilliantly.
She's just such a great actor. I mean, it's so fun, you pairing off. This just felt so lived in right away. She's amazing.
It was a nature of, something that we always talked about, MB, is that the idea of keeping these early scenes claustrophobic so that when Ben goes out into the world, it's like you're suddenly thrust into like, immersed in a much bigger world. So it's definitely like intentional to kind of have these scenes because of their situation for it to feel really, claustrophobic.
Yeah, walls are closing in.
Yeah, and I think it's really, it's a tricky thing to do because obviously there's a sort of an audience where, you don't want to test anybody's patience, but I think it ends up being really important for the movie because, in this bit right here, Ben Richards leaves the apartment and never comes back.
No, exactly. I always loved how you phrase it. It's like the most electrifying, nail-biting pharmacy run of all time, which I just thought was so great. Like the idea that this guy is going out to complete a very small task for his family, to try to show up for his family, and goes on this adventure, that he can't even, has no idea what's ahead of him. And it's such a fun, the humbling nature of this early scene. I just love it. I just love how small it feels and intimate.
I think we talked as well about the feeling of somebody going off to war, like in a World War II movie, the drama of somebody leaving and the feeling that they might not be coming back, or if they do come back, they're not going to be the same person.
Yeah. I remember that we discussed this credits walk very early. You had this thought, and it's a great opportunity just to get a bunch of world building in.
Great world building. Can I tell you one of the weirdest parts about this one for me?
Yeah.
Is you hired an amazing choreographer,
Jen
White, who we absolutely love, who taught me how to do the Running Man dance. That was her big contribution, and Coleman taught me how to do that. But you hired a choreographer, Jen, to make sure that I knew how to walk to the beat, because obviously you'll notice that my walk in this is timed to the music, right? It has to, if it's out of sync, it doesn't play nearly as powerful. And so what I always just laughed is that there was always a click track to be, but it's something that no one would really pick up on, that obviously you are so in it and have seen when it works and see when it doesn't. My family in the background right there.
Oh, yeah.
Niece, nephew,
This
sister,
was the first
brother-in-law.
shot you shot.
This is the first shot. You're right. Yeah.
This is kind of like the dystopian sci-fi version of the opening credits of Saturday Night Fever. You haven't got a paint pot in your hand.
Exactly.
What's crazy is that it's so dense, this movie, even just in there's so much to talk about just in this sequence. We've traveled from like Scotland to London. I always felt bad. Apologies to any Scottish viewers that maybe somebody would say, and hey, wait. Glasgow is the downtown and then London is the uptown bit. What the fuck is that about?
It's outside of Wembley.
This is okay. Well, we could talk about our amazing production designer, Marcus Rowland, but there is that is Wembley Stadium, the network building. And the reason, and Eugene Strange, our amazing location manager, the reason that we ended up with Wembley Stadium is it's really unusual in London, where we shot part of the movie, to have a long approach to a single building. It basically doesn't exist, apart from Buckingham Palace. You know, like the idea of having a really... So there's like a whole half-mile plaza leading up to Wembley Stadium that is highly unusual. So it was this thing when we were scouting and we talked about Wembley, and obviously Wembley Stadium is one of the most famous structures in London, in the UK. But it's just funny to digitally remove it and replace it with the network
It's
building.
all about the walk up.
Oh my God. I can already tell there's a zillion stories we're not going to get to because it's moving fast in this movie.
Possible.
Yeah.
It's off like a rocket already.
That little getting hit in the face by the goons was the first thing that the stunt folks showed me how to do.
I remember that this day was a particularly stressful one, and Jamie Lawson, who we just talked about, who just directed her first short, asked if she could shadow me. And it was possibly the most stressful day, and she was watching me get super stressed out and maybe on too much coffee. And I said to her on the next day, I said, so what did you learn from watching me the other day? She said that it's really stressful. I said, yeah, that was probably at my worst day. It was a tough day. We had a lot to do. We were losing the light. Like, you know, this is Simon Haynes. He does such a great job in this little bit.
They don't make glass thick enough to stop me from choking you out.
Yeah, this was early on. It's one of the first things, like, you know, when we talk about bad mood, Glenn. This was one of the first people you're like, all right, unleash, baby. Let's go.
This is Brent Civic Centre, which is a council building just around the corner from Wembley Stadium. In fact, Wembley Stadium is just on the right over there. It's an amazing structure. Here she comes, Katie O'Brien.
There we go, Katie O'Brien.
Your second movie with her?
I know, yeah, Twisters. Twisters now running, man. She's so great.
I feel like when we were working together in LA, I had just seen Love Lies Bleeding, the Rose Glass film, and I was said, "Oh, this actress should play Laughlin."
Yep, early.
Martin Herlihy.
Martin Herlihy, who playing Tim.
Just so
and
funny.
In a similar way, we were talking about this part, me and Michael. And I think I remember, and I told Martin about this later, that I said specifically, hey, you know who should play Tim? Is the one with the glasses from Please Don't Destroy on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
So good.
And then it's like, oh, his name's Martin Herlihy. When I told Martin that we specifically went after him, he was really dumbfounded by it. He said, oh, you actually like asked for me specifically? He said, yeah. And he's gold. This is also in Wembley Stadium.
This guy did this fall like 20 times. I was very impressed.
Oh, Chris Rogers in the background is playing one of the other contestants. What happened was the actor who was supposed to play Bud in Speed the Wheel had to drop out. And I'd seen Chris on set and I was thinking, oh, maybe he could play Bud. So I guess you'll see him in a Speed the Wheel costume in a bit. He's essentially playing his own twin brother. Maybe the twin brother's going on Speed the Wheel to avenge his brother Bud. A lot of this was shot at Leavesden. Parts of these things, this montage is like shot months apart from each other. This is at Leavesden Studios in London. This is actually a little corridor between the sets at Leavesden, redressed.
You'll help him, Wilf.
Obedience.
Never.
Heroism.
Now, MB, maybe you can speak to this, is that when we had the first test screening, this was like the first bit that got like a proper roar from the audience, and I remember nudging you.
That was gratifying.
No, it's, I mean, it's a very strange thing doing test screenings since the first time when there's been like words on a page for like years at that point.
Yeah.
And then they finally meet their public. And when it gets a laugh, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Final image. Tell me about it.
Infinite bunnies.
Cool holograms.
Like, this is a sequence that I think, because it was always, we were sort of a little bit unsure about it actually, because it was, you have to, with these things that rely on VFX, amazing work by Andrew Whitehurst and the ILM team. But it was something that, again, watching with an audience, it just totally played. This is now, we've switched from Wembley Stadium to Tottenham Hotspur's stadium, their new stadium. And when we shot this scene, this is in the Tottenham Hotspur's dressing room. We actually got turfed out at one point because there was a hard out at 8, and they did mean you have to be finished at 8. So we had to come back and finish the scene. But I want to say on record that I think the reason they kicked us out is because Richard Graysmark, our assistant director, decided to wear an Arsenal shirt in the Tottenham Hotspur changing room. And I'm sure somebody at the stadium saw him and said, "Get those Arsenal fans out of here
100%.
right now."
100%.
There's no doubt. Richard.
Because he wasn't quiet about it either.
I know, he was like really lauding it up. So Richard, I think I'm going to absolutely blame that on you. That was your fault. This stuff that Lee did, all of these adverts, was like maybe the second from the last day of the shoot. Like, Lee was the last man standing in Bulgaria and did all of his advert stuff.
I just love how much flair he gives to this character. It is so fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's also funny. We always joke, but like, for the most handsome man in Hollywood, he's always covering up his face in all these different roles. But like, it's Lee under there. Like, it's like his physicality is just unreal. That's awesome.
You like spaghetti?
A brief moment for Martin Hurley's spaghetti line, which we have to give him credit of, is like one of the funniest improvs. This is another thing. I have to say this as well. We're doing this commentary in October 2025. The movie is out in a couple of weeks, and we hadn't even started filming it this time last year. But it's still, MB, maybe you can speak to this, is like, it's a weird rush to see these sequences that, we started working on it together back in 2021, late 21, 22. Like, actually sort of something that was that hardest hits thing was in your first draft, and actually to see it like finished and it's a scene now. It's just,
it's wild.
It's wild. I mean, I know that's the same with every film. I think this one has particularly like just been, no pun intended with the Running Man, just been like a sprint.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe. All within the last.
What's crazy about Brolin here is Brolin was actually just getting over some sort of like lung thing or like chest thing. So he could barely breathe while he was doing this, but it made his voice sort of like
Sexy.
Sexier. And got a thinner, and like, he dropped like a bunch of weight beforehand. He was like, he lost some weight, and he was like, his voice was thin, and it kind of works wonderfully for this character. It's like,
No, I think the day before he turned up, like, I mean, it was right after Christmas and everybody's ill, and he said, "I've lost my voice." He actually wasn't sure he was going to be able to shoot the next day. But it's weird. It's kind of like he's like sort of just gone into kind of like extra gravel mode. It's really, really works. And also because he had a sore throat, I mean, this was the intention with the character anyway, but he's like softly spoken.
Desire to see a runner go the distance, and we've had men come close. 29 days.
Yeah, it really works. It makes it so much more evil and lethal. But it's also the teeth. You know what's really funny is meeting Brolin for the first time. So he's wearing these like veneer things that apparently he got from Glenn Close's teeth person. But the funniest part is he showed up to rehearsals. We're all sitting there in rehearsals, and I looked at him. I was like, "There's something is off about Brolin." I can't believe that I saw his teeth. I was like, "Oh, I think this guy got some veneers." Nobody else like picked up, but I was like, we've all seen the Hollywood veneer thing happen out of nowhere. I was like, all right, I guess this is probably a good time for it to happen. But I'm glad he didn't get it for real. Good set of teeth for Killian, but we don't need that on Brolin permanently.
I met Josh maybe like nearly 20 years ago, and we never had the opportunity to work together. So it's so great that he did this. And I remember when we were talking with him about the part, I think a big thing with Killian is that what's great about it and what's great about his performance is he never turns into a mustache twirling baddie. Like, because the sort of the worst people in these positions, I mean, the real like sort of like the real baddies of kind of like wield a soft power. they don't need to kind of actually sort of like show their teeth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like sort of they get an underling to tell you the bad news. And so it was something where we just talked about it in terms of him never really raises his voice, which is great. He doesn't need to.
It's a seduction here.
Just absolute power.
This is the fun bit.
Oh, I love this bit. You know what's funny about this bit is Brolin insisted on doing this head butt thing. When I jump and slam his head on there, I was like, Brolin. He's like, he insisted on doing it. I was like, this is day one for Brolin, right?
Yeah, he had a stunt double, and the stunt double I think looked with the wig on and stuff looked like Tony Montana from Scarface. and Josh was like, "Do I look like that?" And I said, "No, your character doesn't look like that." But it did look like he was about to slam his head into a mountain of coke or something. He looked very much like Tony Montana. This
George.
This is George.
Awesome.
It's funny. I want to say Slane, his rapper name.
Relocate the fam. Put him under an assumed name.
He was just awesome. Awesome. I was such a fan of his in the town.
Big
Felt like I was a little
fan.
starstruck meeting him.
And I had the same.
So good.
Really cool dude.
George Carroll. That's funny. I know it's funny. Francine Maisler, who kind of like sort of suggested George, would, just call him Slane. Like, oh, you should get Slane to be in this. And I sort of knew him from the town. But yeah, George Carroll, he was great. Such an amazing voice as well.
Yeah.
Can you say, and this is no disrespect, can you say, Michael, what your character description of Agent Doug was? Because it was a good one.
I
feel
think
like
it
I'm
was
putting you on
something
the spot
like
now.
built like a thumb.
Built like a thumb. It's one of the all-time great character descriptions.
What did you do?
I'm on the running, man. Listen to me. I promise I'll be back.
Well, we wanted to have the iconic "I'll be back" in this,
that's
but I
right.
wasn't gonna do it in an Austrian accent or do it with power. It's a different version of it, but I like the fact that we got it in there.
Just snuck it in.
No, we didn't even talk about the Arnie on the dollars thing earlier, but this is the second Schwarzenegger Easter egg in here, is that Glenn says, "I'll be back." Which technically is a line from both The Running Man and The Terminator.
This song, the Americana song, my little sister recorded this song.
It's a cover version of Holly Johnson, but she did the cover. That's her singing, right?
Yeah.
So
Kills
good.
it. And I love the Americana show. I mean,
Now,
this is one of the greats.
This is the first thing that we shot.
Yeah.
On Halloween 2024, we shot the Americanos with Debbie Mazar, legend, Kat Cohen and Emma City, among others, and just shot a whole day with them. I think if you have the Blu-ray, you'll be able to watch at least 10 minutes of the Americanos. It was so funny, you wrote a bunch of stuff and then they also just went off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were great. Really funny.
This was a new scene, actually. We had another longer scene of something that was straight from the book, which I was really wanted to kind of get in there, but ultimately sort of just pace-wise didn't kind of work out. So actually this shower scene was sort of a replacement as a sort of a bridging sequence to get us into a new day. Maybe you'll be able to find the funeral scene elsewhere on this.
Is your running band? You're gonna use it for timers, reminders.
Oh my God. This is worth talking about. It's a conversation that we had early on, I think, was about keeping the analog technology in the film.
Yes, that was a very early thought where you could use it to kind of show how the underground stays off the grid. And you did an incredible job kind of using that kind of design in different ways throughout the film as well. With the,
yeah, it's a part of the book, and we'll talk about it later when other things come up, but it's like a retro futurism thing. It's like, I always liked in Terry Gilliam's Brazil that it's like an 80s film, but it's styled like the 40s. And this is a 2020s film, but there's like elements of the 80s. Stephen King, as Richard Bachman, wrote the book in 1982. And I guess the idea was like it might feel like and it's set in 2025. We should say that.
Crazy.
So it's like the idea of that. This is what he imagined 2025 would be like. Now, we should talk about Coleman
Freaking
Domingo.
Coleman Domingo. I'm just watching, man. I'm just like, every time he's on screen, I'm just like in it. You know, this was one of my favorite moments is when Coleman, this whole bit right here, because it's like a big long oneer. If you notice, it's a big long oneer. But all of a sudden, as soon as he showed up on set, everybody's like, "Oh, it's on. This guy is coming to play." It was just such a great. There was just like an energy on set whenever he showed up.
It's also a very arcane reference to Jeremy Piven's mercury poisoning in that dialogue. He says, "When I pull a mercury poisoning on show night," referring to Jeremy Piven dropping out of Speed the Plow on Broadway because of mercury poisoning. Thank you very much.
That is such a deep reference.
David Mamet's response when he dropped out of that play,
funny.
David Mamet's response was, he says, "We wish Jeremy all the success in his new career as a barometer."
That is. You saw your assistant Tom.
That was Tom.
There.
That's right. And Mark, our casting guy as well, our sort of extras casting guy. This day, oh my God, this was a day at Canary Wharf.
You were very stressed out about
this.
this.
Oh my God. I honestly thought, I have to apologize to our line producer, James Biddle, because I thought this was shot during a storm. And at several points during this, I kind of was saying, please, can we stop? It's a storm. And I have to say, the footage looks fine. So I take it all back.
Another Jen White moment here with the cheerleaders.
Yes.
This was badass.
Look at the blonde one on the right. She is really going for it in this next shot. It's amazing.
All were, man.
They're all
so
going for
fun.
it. It's
so
amazing.
fun. Cheerleaders were such a good move. And this is where Coleman, you're just like, what a legend.
I remember being on set, like, it was another thing I remember stressing out a little bit is the cheerleaders was not in the original script, but it was I will say it's our one nod to the 1987 film. And actually, you know who was the choreographer on the 1987 film?
What?
Paula Abdul.
You're kidding.
True.
Oh, that's
In
badass.
fact, the music on the 1987 film is called Paula's Dance or something like that. Anyway, but I remember like we put it into it wasn't in the script, but it was the thing, oh, maybe it'd be a nice nod to have the cheerleaders. And then I was stressing out about it. I think, oh, we got so much to do. Was this a mistake? And I remember watching the first take of it with Naira at the monitors with the fire going off.
Whoa.
And Coleman coming out. And I was thinking, and I remember turning to Naira and saying, like, that is going to be in every trailer. and it was. I mean, Glenn, maybe you can speak to what it was like having hundreds of extras hurling abuse at you.
I mean, this was, I got to say, this is where Coleman's superpower, being just like a theater legend, comes out, where he had that audience in the palm of his hand.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, literally, I mean, I don't know how many extras were out there,
Maybe
but
like
I mean,
kind of 500 sometimes.
they have 500 background, and they were awesome. I mean, it was
Yes.
like
Yeah.
full
Yes.
commitment. I mean, because we're shooting this scene so many hours every day.
Over like 6 days, yeah.
And they have to bring as much energy as I have to bring, as much energy as Coleman. It's like we are all in the scene together, and that's very rare. You know what I mean? Where they are truly giving energy to the scene, and we're all kind of acting with each other. It was just such an awesome.
Well,
This was a magical set piece. It really was.
I think there's a couple of things here. Sometimes supporting artists are sort of treated like cattle on a set, and it's like, but when they're like inspired and engaged, and that's the work of the amazing AD department, but also I got to say Coleman was so great at G'ing the audience up. It was like he was Bobby T.
No, absolutely.
He had a relationship with that audience by the end of that week.
absolutely.
By the end of the first day.
And we needed that.
By the end of the
Really.
first day, they were going, Bobby T, Bobby
It was
T.
sick. It was so cool. But it makes it immersive. It makes it fun. And you're exactly right. They put energy. They doubled down on it.
Oh, yeah.
You got to give them credit. They
They were
made
great.
the
And the
scene.
speed the wheel sequence as well. They were so up for it. And sometimes people, I remember when we had the rap party, I forget the name. It was one of our accountants had come in and was an extra for a day. And he came up to me and he said, I can't tell you how therapeutic it was to sit in that audience and hurl abuse at Glen Powell, somebody that I don't even know.
I was like, man, what's up with accounting having such beef with me, man? I didn't do anything.
Oh, I should give credit to the rules of the run. The animation here is my brother, Oscar Wright, and Matt Piper, his
Yo,
friend,
this is so good.
did
Fantastic
all
job.
of this animation, which is amazing. Somewhat inspired by the old video game Paperboy.
Yeah. You see something like this for the first time on a laptop in a corner of a soundstage, and I was really, really excited.
Well, I mean, oh my God, there's so many people to thank on this. I mean, just in terms of like the sets and the lighting and everything. But one other thing I'll say here that's quite nice is we wanted to. There was a company called Too Fresh, Seattle-based, and they do all of the kind of sports stuff for TV. They basically do like NFL, NBA.
Really?
And it's sort of inspired by the British comedy shows, The Day to Day and Brass Eye, which are these news shows and employed news graphics people. So we thought, well, why don't we get real sports people to do the graphics? And they did such a great job.
Yeah.
So it looks like real TV because that's what they really do. They're not like, kind of so much film guys. They do all of this major league sports stuff,
Look at these thugs. Observe the typical disguise.
I like this little effect here. Makes me laugh.
So silly.
That was a late breaking. I think it was probably one of the last finished effects in the entire movie. So it was all a bit of always a surprise to see those.
This is the week, I think, more than any, that really scared me in terms of like, whoa, this is a lot to get through.
Yes.
And I remember about halfway through it, just thinking, holy shit, I think we're gonna make it.
Well, we were lucky. I mean, Coleman is just, it just completely. Oh, I have to say quickly, the running man there, I put that in for Colin Hanks because when it was announced in the trades that I was doing the running man, Colin Hanks sent me a somewhat snarky text saying like, hey, congratulations, is this gonna be in it? And sent me a meme of somebody doing the running man dance. So I thought I put it in it, and I just texted Colin Hanks and I said, just you wait. Just you wait. So Colin, that one was for you.
I got Running Man dance lessons from Coleman on set.
I saw you doing it with Jimmy Fallon last night.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a little wobbly.
This, I love your little stumble when you
great.
get out of the elevator. It's so cool. It feels so real.
That's Top Gun training right there. That's post G-forces. That's the post G-forces walk.
Well, also we went from Leavesden. This is a crazy one where we went from Leavesden. This is in Bulgaria. This was one of your last. This was one of the last days of the shoot.
Last days, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're back to Tottenham.
Yep.
Just before they threw us Arsenal fans out.
This was 3 minutes before they kicked us out.
And now we're outside Wembley Stadium again. So this is you running away from Wembley Stadium.
This was also very early idea you had. This shot right here.
Oh, yeah.
Is one of the first two shots you talked about, the other being the opening credits.
Well, we should say, I mean, we haven't talked a lot about the original novel, but one of the things that's like really key to the original Richard Bachman novel is that the game is out in the world. And it was something about the book that really stuck with me was this idea of being unceremoniously, you're on the show and in front of billions of viewers, and then you're just like let out the back door. And it was always that thing, I think we talked about it for a long time, about this idea of this loading bay, something kind of like, and I think maybe sometimes with locations or like people trying to understand what the idea with that is, it's like, but I always had this vision of it being sort of unceremonious.
Yeah, and the stark contrast to the massive production and noise and all the money being spent on the show, and then it's just like, get out of here.
Sick as that yammer, man.
Shout out to our cabbie, Derek Miller. Crushed it. Great energy.
Derek Miller was fantastic. We love him.
Yeah, you better run. I hope they burn your ass. You did me, pal. You're dead.
Now, this is also, I think,
Coldest night.
one of the coldest night shoots I've ever done in my life.
This was rough.
I think Lee Pace looked over me at one point because there's a shot with Lee later, and he sort of said that I was like doubled over, and I was on like 3 layers. I thought I was never going to get warm ever again.
Yeah.
It was so cold.
This was an old prison? Was that an old prison?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
By the river,
Glasgow.
by the Clyde,
Yeah.
that was in Glasgow. There was a little Texas switch back there. If you want to rewind that goes from Bogdan, one of your stunt doubles, to you.
William H. Macy.
William H.
Legend,
Macy.
man.
Oh my God.
This guy was so great.
This was, I think this was just the dream person for this part.
He's so
right?
good. And just the nicest.
Absolutely.
You know one of my favorite memories with William H. Macy was, not everybody wants to spend like lunch with you or whatever. he was like, "Hey, you want to grab lunch?" And we just literally kicked it in my trailer, grabbed lunch, and he just played the ukulele, and we just like talked
Really?
live.
I
I was
didn't
like,
know
what a
That's
it was
great.
such a
I
good
didn't.
memory.
Wait, he had a ukulele
yeah,
with him.
yeah, just chilling, man.
Oh my god.
It's just he's just so cool.
I mean, he's just got one of the. I mean, he's one of those actors where like every line reading is a gem.
Yes.
And it's kind of you're spoilt for choice because there's no bad take with William H. Macy,
No.
and then it's a matter of looking through the takes and seeing which is your favorite. Like because I don't know, there's never a false note. He feels so real, and the performance is so lived in. He's so naturally funny and interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Brought a lot of humanity to this relationship.
yes.
Yeah.
Now we should say
This is cool.
this is a Brolin Easter egg. And this was not intentional, but very early on, we were talking about the idea of having a foreshadowing film. Isn't that right? We were talking about a film specific.
I just did like a big search of hijacking
Yes, it was
films.
like the idea of getting something a hijack film. And I think I said to you that I remembered roughly, and I'd seen this film called Skyjacked, where somebody holds up a plane with a live grenade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when that was then in the script, and this is maybe like years before we actually cast the part of Killian, the person in Skyjacked holding up the live grenade is Josh Brolin's dad, James Brolin.
So cool.
And that is a complete coincidence. And it wasn't until Josh Brolin was cast, I was thinking, wait. And I said to Josh, I said, you know your dad is in this movie too. Which is just wild to me. And actually, when Josh watched it the other day, we were talking about it. And then I texted him and said, did you see your dad in it? He goes, yes! Like, he was just, it's crazy.
That's cool.
I mean, it's like, I think this idea of like this is going back to the analog technology. I think like a key line that was in there right from the first draft.
Those freebies don't want you, but those TVs don't want you back.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that's a sort of like a really key line that people, like, I mean, the idea, like, to talk about the freebies in the movie is that we always talked about the idea of them being, like, state mandated. Everybody has a 65-inch plasma.
Yep.
And the old cathode ray, like, sort of TVs, like, don't want you back.
See on big screen.
But the other reason that this scene, I think, really kind of like hits home is that, like Ben doesn't have too many allies like in the movie, especially in this first half,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the last moment of his old life.
Yes.
Before he sets off.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Everything from now on is a new encounter. There's nobody that you run into in the rest of the movie that you haven't that you've met before.
That was a tricky shot.
I was just gonna say.
There's my family right there too, crossing.
The tricky shot with the choreography.
Yeah. That was tough.
This is Sophie Simnett, who was originally credited as Ticket Agent, and then we decided to change it to Ticket Agents, because you can see she's playing all three. Now, she's also doing that live onto the screen.
That was cool.
That's not a VFX, well, it is, I mean, she was there doing it live.
Brisket
a
cameo,
live feed.
Annie cameo.
And Leo Thompson and Annie. There's like a triple whammy of cameos there.
Boom, boom, boom.
Leo Thompson, who also played the part of Felicity in The World's End. I'm looking at her right now in the mixing booth.
This kid was great.
This kid was great. What's this? Oh God, I have to look up this kid's name. He was Sweetie.
God, he was awesome.
It's also his first Mason. I think his name's Mason, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
He was just awesome though.
Mason Holtram. Yeah, his first film part. I did feel bad pushing his ears through those chairs on the ninth take.
He
there.
did it quite
I'd
a
like
few
to
times,
apologize,
yeah.
Mason, for your red ears.
He was committed, man. I loved it.
This is Hannah McClane. This was shot in Glasgow.
Edgar had some notes about this when he thought we had too much chemistry.
I just felt like it's weird in this movie. It's the only person that Ben Richards is even slightly flirty with, other than his wife.
So confusing to me. Every time you brought this up, you're like, I think you have too much chemistry. I was like, what are you talking about? What is happening?
Well, it's the fact. It's also she's the only person who's like nice to you in the whole movie.
So funny. I love this shot. We shot this in like 2 minutes, and it's one of my favorite shots in the movie.
I like this kid here. Always looks like sort of Veruca Salt and her dad in the lift. Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator. It's like, Veruca Salt is in this film as well. Or is it Violet Beauregard? I forget. They're both like who are the spoiled brats from Willy Wonka?
I think they're all spoiled brats.
I think they're all spoiled brats except Charlie. Exactly. That's the point of the book. Hey, this running cam. I think Oscar, my brother, and Marcus, and also our amazing. Oh God, I got a blank on surnames. Alex, our amazing props person. Can I come back to that one? It will come up when it comes up in the end credits. I'll shout. But my God, the running cam and all of these kind of like props, the tapes, the envelopes, just amazing. Like attention to detail. Oh, this fucking shot.
Stunning.
Not only is this is probably my favorite shot in the movie, and also another panic attack inducing. We almost didn't get this shot. It was one of these shots. Marcus Rowland, just amazing job on making Glasgow look like New York. But like Chung at a certain point said that the sun was going down, and he says, "We have to shoot now."
It was crazy. It was chaotic.
It was like maybe we only did 4 takes of that. It's just amazing. More from Debbie and Kat and Emma. Debbie Mazar, I think I have to give credit. I think maybe who suggested casting her? But I was like, I think it was maybe Carmel, our UK casting person, suggested Debbie Mazar. I said, do you think we could get her, Debbie Mazar? Not just from Goodfellas, but also Debbie Mazar. Oh my, okay.
This is a real seagull. Which
Well,
made
can
me
you?
laugh. And then every time,
you thought I was pranking you, right?
Yeah, I thought you were pranking me. Basically, there's this seagull effect, and he goes, okay, we're gonna have the seagull, and then all of a sudden, I look out the window, and on a cherry picker, there's a man with a seagull being lifted up. It just cracked me up. And then Edgar's sound effect. He did the seagull sound effect every time for my close up. Unbelievable. Best seagull out there in Hollywood. If you need a seagull, Edgar Wright.
I also felt like a dum-dum because I was looking out the window, and the seagull was on the kind of like this sort of cherry picker, and I was like, wow, this seagull is really well trained. And I was looking at it for a good 60 seconds before I realized, oh no, that's the stuffed one.
Yeah. Those are those internal thoughts that you don't tell anybody about afterwards.
These are our amazing hunters. James and Alex and Joey and Carl as Frank, and obviously Lee as McCone. I love actually in that shot there. I love that like Carl is got his eyes closed when it's like he's kind of getting into character.
Yeah,
it's so great.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love the flares in this too.
Yeah,
I just loving kind of like Carl's bellboy outfit as well.
Yeah, yeah. The costumes just add to all of it.
This is something. I mean, we talked about this is something straight from the book. Like the idea of Ben Richards having a premonition of them coming. Because there's another thing that we should talk about is that the other big thing about this in terms of not just the area of play is the fact that the book, the Richard Bachman book from 1982, is all from Ben's perspective.
Yeah.
And in a lot of these movies, you know, you'll cut away to the baddies or see what's happening back at the network tower, but staying with Ben hopefully makes it really intense and powerful.
Yeah, that was, and again, I think our first conversation about it was about that. Like, can we do that? Can we pull that off?
Yeah, and in fact, the premonition is one of the few times where you can go into a slightly different world.
Yeah.
And we just talk about how funny Martin Hurley is again.
So funny.
Just before he
Awesome.
dies.
Carl, Joey, coming up for this.
I just love his reaction to about to be killed.
Carl's got some great like little swag, like this little thing with he and Frenchville. It's so good. Yeah.
I know. I like his little sort of smug look to camera, like
so good.
This is what we do.
This is what we do, baby. This is so good.
We're gonna say goodbye to your businessman character here.
Yep.
I am really like happy with all this stuff. It's like really just
Looks like I can keep you in
Back to the chemistry of the movie.
There's a whole other like interesting sort of like interesting erotic drama with the two of you that for another time. Boston. This is really a shout out to our amazing helicopter unit who did like a great shot in New York. Rather than use stock footage, we really wanted our own like shots, and that Boston shot was amazing. This is now we're back to Glasgow here.
Oh yeah. I'm looking for a place to rack out for the month.
That was right. You had the Miles Davis song like sort of right from draft one, MB.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Red China Blues.
I don't know. I think I was just listening to the album it's on at the time, and I thought it ripped.
This is Rich Hall playing Roberts, who in the UK is a very famous comedian, but also way back in the day, he was an SNL cast member in like 1984. He's on the same season as Christopher Guest and Martin Short and Billy Crystal. But he's lives in the UK and Montana some of the time, but he's like a brilliant
great
comedian. And I don't think he's ever been in a feature film before, which is crazy to me because he's like sort of like such an amazing
He's so good.
character actor
so
face.
Good.
Yeah.
Great
Love
guy.
Rich. And it was I think it was funny, like, and then when he came in to do ADR, and he said to me, he goes, so I'm not cut out then? I said, no, you're in the movie. He goes, oh. He goes, I swore I was going to be cut out of this movie. I said, no, you're in it, man. This is Danny McCarthy playing the YVA manager. Now, fans of the book will know that this whole sequence is the YMCA sequence. And we had to change it to YVA. Maybe you can talk about that in a second. We'll come back to Borkin in a second. It's the YVA, Yankee Veteran Association. Can you explain Borkin to us, MB? Because that's very much an MB touch. Illiteracy in the future?
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. We rely too much on our phones. Well, that is a thing that's happening. I mean, it was one of... I mean, there's a few things here. The slanguage of the future, but also the illiteracy. I mean, I think that's something as people just rely on their, spell check or even just your phone starting to remember things spelt wrong, right?
Yeah, I think it's happening to all of us.
Yep.
Anyone know how to read a map anymore?
Yep.
I mean, I'm on the murder show.
There's quite a lot of Stephen King Easter eggs in here. Darnell's Garage is a
Rudy
reference
Toot.
to Rooty Toot straight from the book. Darnell's Garage is a reference to Christine.
Seek for money. Thank you. I think I'll just lay low. Keep it cool. Try not to burn out.
This whole sequence, the YVA sequence, was possibly, I mean, I don't know, it's a tough competition of which is the most complicated sequence.
This is tough.
But this is definitely, this is all
definitely tough.
shot, this portion in Leavesden, an amazing set by Marcus Rowland.
Really
It's
impressive.
incredible. And we're cutting between the Leavesden studio set and Bulgaria. This was shot, this stuff was shot before Christmas, and then I think this stuff with Joey and Alex and James was shot right at the very end. But an incredibly complicated sequence, this. And I feel like this was all in the lead up to Christmas, the interior stuff, right?
Yeah. This was all leading up to Christmas. I actually had a lot of friends on set watching us do this day. The sort of YVA one down. Yeah. It was really, really fun. They were like, oh my God, you're taking a beating on this movie. I was like, yeah, there's a lot going on in this sequence. I mean, I love Carl's commitment in this stuff.
Yeah.
He's just,
Well,
he's awesome.
we can talk about it. I mean, me and MB watched all the casting stuff. Carl Glusman did, I think, the best self-tape I've ever seen.
So good.
Without doubt.
Where he basically shot his entire part like it was a thriller. And we watched his tape and said, well, we have to give it to this guy. He basically shot the entire part.
And scored it.
And scored
No,
it.
yeah,
and, like,
best
sort of
track
did it on
from
location.
Sicario.
It was like, I'd never seen anything quite like it. So, Carl, we should really
Well
put
done.
your self-tape on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I got to give a shout out to my trainer, Tim Blakely here.
Yes.
It was feeding
What, you
me.
mean you didn't do this all by yourself, Glenn? What, you mean you weren't like that already?
It's like Tim just was like, hey man, can you flex more down the hallway? I'm like, I got other things on my mind as a character than flexing, man. I guess he's like, I feel like your angles aren't right. He was like trying to get me to squeeze my traps. I'm like, all right, this is life and death, Tim. I appreciate the hard work you've put in here.
Well, I think the thing is I think when it's written into a stage direction of that he's in a, is that in the book, the towel thing? I forget.
I think so.
He climbs
I think
out of the window.
I think
doesn't
he gets caught out.
He gets caught out of the window, but I guess it's something where it's like it's something that you don't realize how much of a thing it's going to be.
No, it's so funny whenever I just love in movies how every department reads a scene differently. And this one, he's like, all right, towel. It's all he focused on. It's all he cared about.
I mean, it's hashtag Glen Powell.
Yeah, Glen Powell. Thanks, Tim.
You should talk about the bruise map.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sharon Martin, our amazing makeup person, and
Charlie Hounslow.
So well done.
Charlie, yeah. The whole department. But, here's the thing, because we had to shoot out of sequence. One of the things you have to do, and that's just something I did first on Shaun of the Dead. It's also for costume as well, Julian Day and his amazing team. If you shoot out of sequence in a film like this, you have to figure out Ben Richards getting beat up and what happens to his costume and his face throughout the entire movie. So it is called the bruise map or the stain map. I mean, we had to do it in Shaun of the Dead. It's like he's got a white shirt on. What is he doing? Like, how does he? Where is the blood? Like. And so we had to kind of go through the entire movie to figure out all the bumps and cuts and everything.
Tough. And because there's such continuity important, it's like Lizzie Pritchard was such a beast. Our amazing script supervisor who went through war on this one and earned her stripes.
Yeah.
Now talk about hanging off the set in freezing cold Bulgaria.
This was a -10 in Bulgaria. I agreed to do this when it was nice and warm in London, and here we are in Bulgaria, nice and chilly. And you got to wet me down a little bit, grease me up. It was a whole thing.
I mean, you did it. I was really impressed, with all of this, just in terms of, it was arduous. And it was also something that we were building up to for a long time, and suddenly it's it's like fucking 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You're
just
hanging off the building at -10.
It's like -10, and then you guys were like, "Hey, the shot, we're having a focus issue, or the camera." And I was literally -10 on the roof, just hanging there on a towel, and I was like, "Just, all right, buddy, just film us forever. Film us forever. Just breathe through it." I mean, Bulgaria, winters in Bulgaria, man. This is one of my. I love this shot. I know this was a tedious thing to do, but I just love the buildup of this.
I like it as well. The Rover was a design that we talked about a lot with Marcus and Oscar, and it's sort of a little nod to a couple of things, the Phantasm Ball.
Yeah.
Don Coscarelli shout out, and also a very obscure European cartoon called Ludwig, which will mean something to European viewers over 50 and nobody else.
All right, we're drum rolling to the greatest cameo of them all in our writer Michael Bacall. This was one of those crazy sections where
here he
is, buddy,
the man, the legend.
All right.
And then somebody in the cinema is that the kid from Free Willy? It is the kid from Free Willy.
Killed it. Killed it.
Is that the guy who says, "Are you a pirate in Scott Pilgrim?" It is that guy.
I ate my props. Some Nilla wafers.
I would like to say Michael has more credits than that.
It was so funny about this slide. You remember, the floor was slick, they purposely made it a little slick so I could slide, and then the whole crew was walking on it, and it got really sticky because of the nature of it.
I remember.
So all of a sudden, I hauled ass down the hallway, and then just stopped on a dime. It's the most painful slide you can imagine.
I mean, this
is some great Lee Pace stuff here too.
Just moving now. Wow.
That was a fun stunt.
It's also great, Lee just hiring him, sort of just as a great physical performer.
Do you remember this beat where I was trying to get my heart rate up in this elevator and I started like doing like jumping jacks and I fell through the floor of the elevator?
Yeah.
I want to say this is the best part of writing was writing all the subheadings on Tits Magazine.
Yeah.
It's only on screen for an eighth of a second, and I can feel Naira and Leo rolling their eyes in the other room of how obsessed I was with making it perfect.
I'm giving you full credit.
I mean, Red, White, and Huge is a great patriotic sort of subheading. Anyway, that's one to freeze frame later. This, I mean, I gotta say,
It's a tough set piece, man. This is a building on fire.
This was a sequence that I feel like for the entire shoot gave me anxiety just fucking thinking about it. And we had so many, I gotta give credit to so many people on this, like, you know, our amazing stunts team, Nikki Berrick and Darren Prescott on second unit, but also just this whole sequence, just like I felt like we were planning it for like months, and we'd always have these pre-meetings before going on to do another complicated scene. It's like, let's meet in the basement and talk through the whole fire scene, because Steve Warner, our physical effects guy, oh my God. I mean, this is amazing. This is incredible. And this is the classic Jackie Chan thing where it's just like, yes, just use every angle of this explosion.
Totally.
Because it's so awesome. I mean,
And I love the little touches of the running, the flaming rats.
The flaming
it's
rats. Great. I should stress for PETA that no rats were actually set on fire.
No.
That's the work of ILM. But ILM also did not set any rats on fire.
I'm still here, you shit eaters.
This is a really key line. Fans of the book, that's obviously a really key line. I'm still here, you shit eaters. This is we didn't mention before, Angelo Gray, also in his first screen role. I think he did a great job. From Boston, I want to say, right? For real?
Yeah.
I think so, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's so good. Yeah, you know what's really fun about him is that, you know, it just reminded me of like when I first started acting, like that enthusiasm of being, like even in this scene right here, I mean, this is probably, we're shooting this at like, 2 a.m.
Yes.
It's so cold in Bulgaria, and he couldn't stop smiling. And I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling of being on set where it was just so fun, because you're just like, oh, I'm getting to play pretend, I'm getting to act. But he was fantastic, you know, and you know, he's going to have a bright future ahead of him.
Oh, yeah, he did great. And also, he was really, like, it was fun having him back to do, like, sort of ADR and stuff, because it was his first movie. I think every part of it, being in an action sequence and even just doing ADR, he was having a blast.
He was a pro.
He was a pro. He's also an amazing singer as well. I mean,
I think he sung to, what was it, a ball game. He did the national anthem.
Yes.
In front of thousands.
Yeah, this is it with, you know, like, I mean, there's a lot of jumping around. I mean, again, one of the things about creating this vision of, like, you know, sort of near future America is that we're shooting in London, Glasgow, and Sofia, Bulgaria. We're currently in Sofia, and we're about to go back to Glasgow in a second, but it's I'm going to give credit to other people here, but I think it's pretty seamless. Like, I mean, amazing work by production design and locations, just incredible.
And some of these lighting effects with, you know, Nate and
Nate, our amazing gaffer, and
practical lighting effects.
Chung, obviously, our amazing cinematographer, just incredible work with the you know, and fire effects and real fire and helicopter lights and all sorts going on here.
So, I mean, some of these panels in the air were so crazy.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I mean, we got to give a shout out to Daniel Ezra. First movie.
Yes.
Honored to be his first movie ever.
That's crazy as well.
He's such a legend, man. He crushed this. Just nice guy, too.
Also, I mean, I don't know whether I'm blowing anything here, but Daniel is also British. And when he came in to do his audition, I was like so kind of like struck. His American accent is so great. And he's actually from Birmingham, which is where my mother is from. And so he was amazing. I love Daniel.
Great presence.
Ulanike, who plays the mum, who is also fantastic, a Toronto actress that came in just for these scenes, which was fantastic as well.
What if I gave you enough to get your sister real farms?
Yeah, this was
I can get you out of Boston.
It's what I really like about these scenes is just like I feel, especially for a film that's kind of like sci-fi action, to have these the idea that the future, you know, sometimes when people do kind of futuristic films, they kind of go into sort of Jetsons space age. But of course, the truth of it is that not everything kind of like, you know, like some things just stay the same. And like, it was always a thing about like showing that, you know, the architectural advancements are sort of for the 1%, and the kind of the rest of the sort of world is like staying as it is and was. So it always these scenes to me, this section of the movie always feels like the kind of bit, I always say like a film like, you know, kind of John Carpenter's Escape from New York, you know, like the way that they shoot like derelict Manhattan in St. Louis, and like shooting sort of Glasgow for sort of like a futuristic Boston seems like a stretch, but I think it kind of really works, you know?
Yeah.
And what makes you such an expert?
I really felt, Glenn, that you and Daniel were having an arm off in this scene.
The gun show.
Welcome
It
to
was
the gun show.
Nobody expected.
It was the gun show.
Yeah, so many push-ups off screen.
That's a great shot.
Yeah,
Oh my God, all these
this is
hardest hits.
so good.
We shot like
this. Everyone just reacts to that one. That's the winner.
We shot 32 of these hardest hits. When I say this, a lot of them were done by our amazing second unit, like Darren Prescott and Carlos. It was, yeah. But this, I mean, MB, talk about the Apostle idea, because this is very much all you and not in the book.
Yeah, just the idea of a guy being able to make the analog version of a YouTube video, and how would you distribute information in the underground if everything was monitored the second you leave the house? And you can see nice bit of production design. The freebie's been disabled.
Yes.
So the idea of him making tapes was also quite helpful with setting some story stuff in motion.
Twerk City.
Hilarious.
I know. Remember, we were on like set and I kept thinking of that Jan and Dean song "Surf City" and changing the lyrics to "Twerk City."
Type 3. Oh yeah, Final Dude. Final Dude has a fierce will to survive, yet he never wins. The network cheats. They can find anyone, anytime. But if a runner's getting good ratings, they let him run.
13 days. And just like Papa always said, you can try, but you can't catch a gun.
All of our dudes here are great as well.
I know. Oh my God, the casting on this. I mean, we had so much fun. This is Charlie Palmer Rothwell playing the final dude.
It's a great
and
shot.
Also like Bill O'Neill as like the sort of like hopeless dude. So much fun. I think elsewhere, if you have the Blu-ray, you'll be able to watch their extended self-tapes, which are so funny. Bill O'Neill I cast after seeing his amazing Edinburgh show, which is called The Amazing Banana Brothers, where he plays twin brothers. And he has the premise of that movie, premise of that show is that he has to do 1,000 banana slips in an hour.
That's my kind of show.
Which he kind of does. This, I mean, yeah, it's the Apostle is just a little. I think just the Apostle itself, that tape, is just a. It's sort of a microcosm of the entire movie of how dense that bit is. And I remember it's already something that was like, I mean, I think the Apostle tape is almost exactly as it was in your first draft, but also the kind of thing that I think that's going to be fun. And then also like, oh my God, that's going to be a lot of work. Like we have to essentially create a supercut of multiple previous episodes. And also to try and with the hardest hits and everything to get the idea that this is taking place all over the country. It was, I mean, I'm really, really happy with it. It's like, it was a lot of work. But so it's that weird thing to watch that sequence and it's just a rush. That was from one of the first days of filming, Glenn. You and...
yeah. Well, this was funny because it was like, was it University of Glasgow or
this scene here.
This
yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah.
Where we brought Brisket out on the street and people would put up signs that said, "Can we meet Brisket?" And so all the students came down to the street.
Yeah.
While we were shooting. This is such a fun one.
We were like shooting right by Glasgow University and it was all like lots of students living around here. And is it fair to say they were more interested in Brisket than you, Glenn?
For sure. For sure.
I love this. For various reasons, we shot this speech a a couple of times because we actually did some extra stuff for in additional filming. I gotta say, watching you do this speech over and over again is like you're so remarkably consistent as an actor. It's amazing. It's really amazing. We were watching all of those takes back. And this is, I say, not just in terms of take to take, but literally because we reshot it for, like, to do a new bit of dialogue. 6 months apart. It was like, sort of like, wow, you were like just like in the pocket with this speech. You got it. It's like you just had the muscle memory of doing it. Totally dialed in. I remember when we had the first test screening, MB, that the moment where it pulled back and you saw the kids with candles, the audience all went, ooh, which was the perfect response.
Okay, check.
Can we say a shout out to Bobby T's jacket game in this?
Fantastic.
Oh, Dolce & Gabbana just looks incredible.
The squatter tribes, the ones who can't get a job.
This is something, I mean, I think this is a really good example of a modern version of what's in the book. The idea of the you know, what he says being manipulated on the TV is something that's so 2025, and yet there's the sort of, you know, a version of this in the 1982 book. But I think this is I don't know, well, maybe, I mean, this becomes essentially the sort of the spine of the movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole crux of what the good guys are trying to get at, the truth.
Yeah. And just, I mean, we're obviously living in an age where the idea of things, the truth being manipulated in media is getting crazier by the second.
Truth manipulation is the biggest business in the country, in the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's crazy about the 1982 book is how sort of prophetic it is. This was something, this sequence as well, I think right from again, this was because of the subjective nature of the film, the idea of staying with Ben. And this is a very tricky scene to do and get right, and just the choreography, and I give a shout out to kind of like Nikki and the team for coming up with these transitions. Not easy to do, but it really works.
One of the coldest nights in Glasgow as well. But I have a great video of them putting me in a box and just shaking me around. So as I said, welcome to Hollywood, man. That's just...
It was actually really impressive to be able to do like quite a significant portion of this on location.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It wasn't easy, but it really worked.
This alleyway was, you know, we're just gunning it down that alleyway.
Well, I think you shot for the first half of the night, and then we went off to do the scene in the prison outside Molly's, and then Darren and Carlos were shooting the rest of the car stuff, and then I came back to watch what are these last shots here. We did some additional stuff on this that I think was really good because I just wanted to punch up this bit. But I love this shot here. Like,
great.
This car came so close to that hotel that after one of the takes, I wandered up to the reception to see if anybody saw it. So I nothing happened. Everything was safe. But I was thinking, wow, that was a hairy one going around that corner.
That's good.
That's what you get with old steering. They're driving up like into an NCP car park in Glasgow. It looks so cool. I gotta say, back then, that Boston shot, ILM, the work they did kind of extending the location is incredible. Like taking an existing location and then creating the freeway overpass, you know.
So much good work like that throughout.
Didn't you on JJ's movie shoot just around the corner from here?
I shoot an action sequence like 50 yards away from this.
The fence.
He was worried about it. I was like, no, we used a completely different part of this. It will look nothing like it. It is so funny in Glasgow, like you sort of end up playing the greatest hits in that area, but some similar locations, very different usage.
Christy Wilson-Cairns, who co-wrote Last Night in Soho with me, is from Glasgow, and she said, after watching the film, she said, Glasgow's never looked cooler. So I'll take that. Now, this is a sequence, talk a bit, MB, about this. when we had the first test screening, again, this is something, this speech coming up is untouched from your first draft. And I don't think either of us were expecting for it to get the response that it did in the test screening.
Yeah, really a big laugh.
I know. Creature of habit. But tonight...
Shout out to
You never know.
You never know. I know it is an amazing thing. I mean, test screenings are like nerve-wracking as hell.
Yeah.
But when there's something that gets like a roar that either you were expecting or you weren't expecting it to be that big, this is definitely one that I thought it was funny, but that's also
relief.
We should point out that Michael Bacall is playing the guy laughing in the other room. It's like, how did the guy from the YVA in Boston get out to Maine? What is he doing?
Quit smoking weed.
By the way, this was so fun to watch Katie do.
Oh my God.
This hotel debauchery self-tape. She was living her best life here.
She also is operating the shot as well.
No, operating the shot.
Operating the shot
thing.
on the I forget what those cameras are called, Opsos?
Oh,
Osmos.
Yeah,
Osmos. She's operating the Osmo.
A little gimbal.
This was a late-breaking scene. This was done in additional. We wanted to sort of add a bit more context, and actually, there was a scene that was in an early draft of yours, MB, and because the scene with the sheep works so well, we decided not to touch it and do something new. So this was a late-breaking idea about, or what if you saw him trying to sneak out of the hotel and the people are watching it in the lounge?
Just starting to get the idea of his rise in popularity.
What's wrong with you?
He's blind, you fucking idiot.
I gotta say that the line that I wasn't expecting that gets a big laugh is off camera and goes, "He's blind, you fucking idiot." Like, big laugh.
That's great.
Tabby's Diner, that is a shout out to Stephen King's wife, Tabby. When we shot this scene, I actually took a photo of Tabby's Diner and sent it to Stephen King that night. And he was just like, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's also a great dairy mural way back
Oh,
there.
yeah, there is. I know you see a dog walker going past. There's also triple cut Christ energy wine. You see the advert there. We haven't talked about these post boxes. There's so much going on. Alex Newstadter.
Newstadter, fantastic.
I know, so great. Also, probably one of those things where, like, I think the time between his audition tape and us auditioning him and actually shooting him was probably at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, we auditioned him very early on, and then obviously this was something shot right at the end of the schedule. So, and he flew out to Bulgaria to do this with us. He's
crushed
great.
it. You know what's funny is, I tell you, he took a beating this night. This was like another one of those like brutally cold nights. This was like, we probably shot this bit where he gets trucked at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
It was just one of those. But he was great. Real tough.
Yeah, real creepy performance.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Yeah, I really, it was really important actually to sort of like, for me, to get these sort of American actors playing these small parts just to kind of really sort of build up the world. Like, it's really great that he did this. Same goes for like Dan.
Do you remember this bit where they Atmosed it out too much and all of a sudden I was running through like a smoke cloud? I couldn't even see where I was going. I was at a full sprint.
It looks like a shot from a Hammer horror movie all of a sudden, but it looks great. But that was actually a transitional thing. We needed something to bridge those two locations, that sort of Derry, like it's supposed to be Derry backlot on the train station, and that was actually the forecourt of the studio.
Yep.
Which Marcus kind of put fences up and like gravestones, Oh my God. This was shooting this scene at this. This is a real train, by the way. And we all sat on that train as it reversed up.
That was a great memory, man. That was actually one of my favorite nights. Us all going back and forth on the train.
We had the use of a real train, and we had to go back and forth. And there was like a small crew, maybe like 10 of us on the train.
Yeah.
And every time we would move on the train, I would play something different on my phone, which I think was driving Chung insane. First, it was the theme tune from Thomas the Tank Engine. And Chung at some point said, "I want to kill myself."
We all know what that sound is.
Oh my God. And another like crazy set piece. This is like, this is another one, I think, as well, like, as an idea untouched from the first draft of, like, something that was right there for the first draft. Tell us about the idea of this.
Just that there were communities out there that Ben hadn't release scene yet. So the idea of the squatter tribe was just that the people living in this previously, let's just call it an ungentrified
Yes.
area, kind of have their own community, and they're rooting for the good guys.
This Las Vegas was shot in Glasgow. This is actually the famous Armadillo and the Ovo Hydro, I think it is, the sort of concert venue opposite. This was one of the coldest nights of the year.
This is the one I remember.
This is the one. I just realized, I'm like, damn, I think this was the coldest night.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a lot of cold nights on this movie.
It's a photo finish between that night and the one outside the in the prison yard. But like, my God, that was so cold. I also got to say, like, that was probably the most we went over, like shooting wise, overtime wise, which was tough. But one of the final shots we did was that crane shot of the Corvette peeling around, and it's such an amazing shot. And so credit to Elliot, our amazing grip, for pulling that one off.
Yeah.
This is a bit of additional photography, because after the test screening, one of the notes we got was like, we want to see Laughlin die.
Yeah.
Like, originally it was just that you saw the burning car and the burning shed, but this stuff with the burning body and like Katie's tape was all done later. Fun Twinks, that's straight out of the book.
Yep.
And then there was one. That's right.
I mean, there's so many moving parts in these scenes. It's exhausting to think about it, but it's exhilarating to see it all together. I can't even tell you just like how many things are going on just in that one little bit.
It's insane.
And just the idea of not just like there's the location thing with the projector, then there's the studio with Coleman, then there's what they're watching on the clips in the studio. It's like a kind of like...
That's the most impressive part about, I think, this entire movie is the amount to put things on the screen to like fill out the world in all the ways that you need to. It's shooting like 4 movies simultaneously. It's like really incredible. On a very aggressive schedule.
Me and Paul would call, even editing those sequences was tough. We called them like the Russian doll sequence, because they're scene within a scene within a scene. Now, let's talk about Michael Cera and Sandra Dickinson.
Oh man, what a set piece this was.
Sandra Dickinson is an American actress, but she is in the UK is somewhat, well, I wouldn't say somewhat, she is a legend. Like for many of us in the UK, she's a legend because she's been on sort of... she was in the original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the original BBC show, playing Trillian. And so...
You had sort of a crush on her back in the day, right?
I mean, I'd say I still have a crush on her now. Like, but she was like such a legend. Like, sort of people on the shoot, like my brother and Steve Price, the composer, were like, Sandra Dickinson, Hitchhikers. Paul was totally in love with her because of Hitchhikers.
I love it.
She also did the theme tune to this kids show called Button Moon, where she sings it, and I got her on set to sing Button Moon onto my phone. And I sent the video to my brother, and he was like, no way.
I think that was the happiest I saw you on the entire movie.
Well, this was like, we don't need to go into too much detail, but I think, this is like one of the most fun set pieces in the movie. Michael Cera is obviously a legend. We should talk about our dear friend, MB, Michael Cera. But also not a complicated and somewhat stressful set piece on a number of ways.
Yeah, this was...
tough to make, but it kind of... I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it helps your performance, but you are genuinely cranky in this.
Cranky
scene.
and pissed, yeah. Yep. But you know what? We used it, we fueled it, and then. But it was great. I mean, the fact is also, Sarah was such a champ.
Yes.
Knowing that, like, I had to kind of fight through some stuff and he's just so dialed in. He's such a pro. And also one of my favorite, I think, moments was watching you guys reminisce about, making Scott Pilgrim and like kind of this, it was kind of a wonderful life flash forward, from that moment to this. You know what I mean?
Like a nuclear blast that never burns out. Monster.
I'm good.
And for those who haven't put 2 and 2 together, like sort of Michael Bacall, like sort of co-wrote Scott Pilgrim, and so we've known Michael since he was 20.
Wow.
I mean, he was before that, but he was 20 and turned 21 on the set of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And now he's like a father of two, and this is the first time we've worked together with him again as an actor. And like, what a actually weirdly, this looks like Scott Pilgrim's fucking house.
So
that is a
crazy.
complete coincidence. That was built into the exterior set in Bulgaria, but it looks like Scott Pilgrim's house. It's so weird. But I mean. MB, speak to Michael about Michael Cera.
He's just such a strong actor.
Yeah,
all around, and you just have total confidence that he's coming in, and he's gonna do it well, and he gives a shit, and he jumped right in. I think he got really sick too.
He did get
really
sick. Yeah.
There was a point on set where like Sandra Dickinson was the only person who could actually perform one day.
We must protect Sandra.
I guess we could shoot some shots of Victoria.
Yeah, it was tough.
But it was actually, I have to say, because there were various complications with the sequence, some people on the crew started to refer to this as a cursed set piece. And I have to say, they're not wrong, but also, I guess, like coming out of some screenings, people's like favorite set piece.
Yeah,
in the
totally.
movie.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm so glad that stayed in.
With the bras?
Yeah, it's such a great beat.
That's another one right from, I mean, there's, I think this is the shot and this is the line. Not only like Michael's line, one can hope, but your reaction, Glenn, is perfect. Michael's line is perfect, one can hope.
They'll come for you.
One can hope.
And then you're like, what?
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's perfect. Just before the door closes, you're
Just,
like, wait, what?
Drum roll to what's about to happen.
Now, this tape here is a late breaking one, and I have to give both of you credit for this because it was the idea of putting something else in the scene. And I think, Glenn, you had the idea of the list, and then MB, you went off and wrote it. So I have to give both of you credit for this really, kind of like key moment in the movie.
Just trying to keep, Kathy, in the center of the story. But there was a family friend who, had cancer, and she, created a series of videos for her daughter that she wouldn't get to raise. And so
I didn't know this story.
Yeah, I thought of like, okay, what if we did that about a guy who is not going to get to really raise his daughter? Like, what can he impart on her? What if she ever stumbles upon these things in one ever way? And I really love it because it keeps Kathy kind of. You think about what a dad would actually want to be feeling in that moment. It's sort of the last rites there.
It's one of those ideas where, like, the second you texted it, I was like, this is good.
And we shot an alt one where you were singing, but as soon as we'd done the one with the list, it was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. Oh my God, it's about to go off. I mean, it was always the great thing about having Michael is like, he's obviously not a baddie. He's one of the good guys, but he is a liability.
Yeah.
And I think, we got to give credit to Mike Ireland here.
Yes.
Okay, so explain this one.
This is one of the best studio notes ever. After the first draft, we were always concerned about, I think it's going to get too repetitious. And Mike Ireland spoke to that after the first draft and said, Bradley and Elton are a little too similar. Somebody's got to fuck him.
And so here's the thing: we didn't want to make Elton a baddie. So, I mean, it was already there in the draft, but it was like sort of just kind of teed up to like the idea of like, because originally in the first draft and in the book as well, right? Or rather,
in the book, she calls it in.
Victoria pushes the button.
And I will say, giving Mike Ireland credit, the fact is, like, he really got what this movie was and supported all the way through.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in early 2024, like, he was the one who tapped his watch and said, we could be making this film by the end of the year. And you know what? He was right.
He was right. He was the one who told me you guys were making Running Man initially. I said I wanted to work with Edgar Wright. He goes, did you know he's doing the Running Man? I said, I didn't.
I should say, you sent me a text when you heard that you were in the running for the Running Man. You sent me this long text on WhatsApp. And what you said in the text was absolutely 100% true because you said, if there's a chance of me getting this part, I promise you I will work harder than any other actor that you've ever worked with. And you know what, readers? He was right.
It was true.
It's true.
Oh, shucks.
Credit to Edgar here for the water gun
Yeah,
idea.
it's a great bit.
Which
I can't believe I'm praising you, Glenn, and whilst one of my other leading men is literally on screen.
Sorry,
Michael. Sorry,
Michael, let's get back to Michael.
Michael,
I'm sorry.
you were the second
Michael,
hardest
you killed
working.
it. Also, one of the best lines of the movie.
Simon Pegg, yeah, third place.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Michael, Simon, I'm kidding. This sequence, I mean, I think it was tough to make, but once it got into a groove, it was such a rush doing this stuff. Such a rush. Shout out to Michael Cera's amazing stunt double, Roberto, that I think Michael
ran through that wall
Michael was
so
totally
hard.
in awe of. He goes, Roberto really looks like me.
Yeah.
Michael wanted to start changing his physical performance to be more like his stunt double. Now, I'd like to point out something coming up, which I think is a bit of movie magic. I mean, we haven't really talked about it much, but Glenn,
my stunt double, Ben Toyer, we have this amazing shot in here. I mean, Edgar loves the Texas switch. He loves movie magic.
I think
and
this
is one of the great Texas switches.
This might be
movie.
my favorite Texas switch in any movie that I've done. So we're going to watch here. This is what's happening. So this is Glenn.
Boom.
And this is Ben. And there he goes.
Boom.
And now it's Glenn again. Now that's some movie magic,
That's
guys.
amazing.
I love a Texas switch. And you're really from Texas,
There
which
it
gets
is.
double the points. Yeah, when it's a Texan actor, it's just called a switch.
Texas switch.
As we leave that library, just to mention the unbelievably great work with production design.
Oh
and
my
graphics
God,
and-
that set
was incredible.
Oh my God. Carl Glusman with the kill shot there. You know what's great? I loved in the first test screening we had. It was a measure to how much they loved Michael in the part that when Frank stabs him, they went, no! And they really didn't like the fact he got stabbed.
Totally.
This was, I remember I remember Glenn, you saying to me at a certain point with casting Lee Pace, Carl, and Coleman. I remember at some point you said to me geez, man, can you get any shorter actors in this?
Jeez. Everybody's towering
Everybody's
over me, man.
6'5".
This is crazy.
It works though, isn't it? Ben Richards is kind of on his heels.
Overwhelmed, man, on his heels.
Still there? Yeah. Put him on.
It's for you.
There he is. Incredible work, Mr. Richards. You are killing it.
Killing it. People are dying, you fucking
I think,
psychopath.
remind me if I'm right that maybe the idea of Killian buzzing in came maybe in the second draft.
I think so. I'm not
I think
entirely.
it was-
I don't remember exactly. I think that was the first place that that it came in.
There was a sort of push, and it's kind of one of the notes you get. We were really, really convinced about the idea that it had to be all subjective, all
Committed.
first person like the book. We had to commit to that.
Yeah.
And then you get a note, from the studio saying hey, is there a way we can go back to the studio and see Killian? And obviously that's what every other movie does. But then it's well, what if he called in? What if he called him? So I want to say that came a little later.
I think it did. I think it was second draft. Yeah.
It's so great to have Josh back in it, and also just the sense that something's coming, that Josh is a Machiavellian
he's a present.
master manipulator. Is that he's playing a chess match, which is not the game that's going out on TV.
Yeah.
And it's leading up to something kind of even worse than that. The idea of it's also something there that's in that was right from that moment of as soon as the Josh thing came in about him doing a countdown to kill Frank on camera,
Yes.
which is going to obviously pay off right at the end.
Cross the bridge and drop me off! I can slow them down! Take back roads to the shelter! Survival is the win!
I mean, oh my God, this whole sequence as well.
Can I tell you? Remember
This is
this
the gift
cart
that
went
keeps on
3
giving.
miles an hour?
Yeah.
We had to make this look way more kinetic. That was
On
really
the hill.
pleasant. Yeah,
Yes.
it was tough.
This stuff was good though. I mean,
looks
when
great,
it's actually
yeah.
like
It does
racing
look
around.
amazing.
This is a bridge in Bulgaria. I think this literally that bridge was the only thoroughfare to a village. They think they had to
Totally shutting down that road.
Well, I think the locations department had to kind of rehouse the village for like the week that we were there.
Oh, wow.
Because I think it was literally the only road into their place.
I gotta say, this was really dope to film.
Talk about this stunt.
This was crazy. Well, there's a lot of different pieces, but the thing that I think was just so fun about it was literally, having these two cars collide at each other and stuff, and and actually jumping off this bridge. But this was a timing issue because you have to make this thing explode on impact. It's all you got drones going, you got all these different shots, you got cameras in the car. I mean, this was really cool to pull off.
I think all of the second unit stuff was really tough, but I think this is probably the most for like Darren and Carlos and the whole second unit team and Nikki and Steve Warner, probably one of the
toughest.
Or certainly the most complicated in terms of one shot, because that explosion and then your jump was all like the same set piece, basically.
Yeah.
The same setup, rather, just from lots of different angles.
You only get one crack at it.
What was it like being on that wire?
Was it
fun?
It's fun, yeah. It's also a weight. It's a weight issue, and you got to just commit. That thing yanks you when it explodes. It's fun.
Moving.
You're moving. It was fun. It was fun. I loved it.
This monologue was a later addition as well.
Yeah.
And something I think just to sort of to make it, more attractive to an actor like Coleman. And
right. We were looking to
it's great.
Entice.
Well, it's funny. As soon as you wrote this monologue, I remember saying this is going to be in the trailer. And
right.
It absolutely was. It's literally writing the first trailer is basically that speech is the backbone of the first trailer.
He crushes it.
It was slightly inspired by, I don't know if you remember in the film The Fugitive, Tommy Lee Jones has that hen house, outhouse.
Yeah.
That speech, which was essentially his Oscar clip when he won Best Supporting Actor, was written for the teaser trailer of The Fugitive.
Crazy.
It was not supposed to be in the movie, and of course that bit they cut it into the movie, and that's the clip that's on.
It's
in
like
everything.
his Oscar clip.
It's his Oscar clip,
Yeah.
literally, and it was specially shot for the teaser trailer. They said, "Hey, maybe we should put this in the film." This was I got to say something about this day. Actually, this is another exterior set in Bulgaria. Don't ask me where. Everything was 30 minutes from the hotel. But this is a standing set. And then Marcus created the dream house and the swimming pool. We shot this bit. I got to give credit to Chung. This scene was one of the first things we shot as a bonding exercise with the kids. When you wake up, we were shooting something else that day. I want to say we were over on the freeway, and then we came to do this bit. And we got there ahead. Me, you, and Chung got there ahead of the rest of the crew.
Totally. This is one of my favorite moments of the entire shoot.
Me too. And it speaks to. I originally had it that you woke up outside the plastic strips, and Chung was like, "No, he should be in the middle of the room. What if he woke up?" And literally, Chung wanted to show it to me, and you were there already in makeup and costume. None of the rest of the crew were there. There was no sound. There was no and we basically were sitting there working it out. And Chung said, "The light is really good right now. Can we just shoot?" So we shot that entire bit in I shot 4 setups in 25 minutes.
Yeah, maybe even less than that. It was he was just Korean cinema. Let's go.
Let's go. It was amazing. It was one of those rare things where in a movie where everything is prepped within an inch of its life, something really loose and improvisational like that was so cool. And you also, I think because you were tired, you were quite happy to you basically just sat there. You just basically, you never went back. I mean, I don't think your trailer was even there.
No,
but you just basically lay on the floor and just did the whole scene.
Yeah, totally.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Now this is yet another very complicated scene. This is a freeway in just outside Sofia. We called this the Ghost Freeway. Eugene Strange, along with our amazing Bulgarian sort of crew. You know, there's this freeway was basically a freeway that was built and never connected to any other roads. So the freeway at the bottom is live. The bridge and everything else around it is just not open. It's not connected to anything. So we had full control of this freeway bridge and the ramps. And so it was kind of like a gift of a location to shoot. It's difficult stuff to find in the UK and in the States, to find sort of non-working freeways that are not, you know, in operation.
Perfect.
This was one of the last days of the shoot for you, I feel like, or some of this at least was on
some
your last
of it.
day.
I mean, Amelia Jones is
yes.
is so good. I mean, we got to. You know what the best part is? You forget when you're shooting a movie that, you know, you're like, oh, I'm in a sequence stuck in a car, stuck in an airplane with another actor. And, like, Amelia Jones is just one of the great hangs. You know, she's not just a great actor, but, like, such a good time. And we just laughed so hard throughout all of this. I mean, she's so good in this. But this was chaos. This was chaos to shoot.
It's worth saying about Amelia that she's so nice. And I'd actually met her, I guess, around the time she was doing, promoting Coda, which won Best Picture. She's so nice in person that the idea of her playing this quite spiky character was the draw. Like, just to see, and, you know, and also she's also played against kind of like type in Task, the HBO show. But she's so great in this sequence. Just seeing Amelia, who's like the nicest person you've ever met, seeing her explode like this is so cool to watch.
This was another audition where it was like, oh, yep, there she is.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. I was so sort of happy. And it's funny, her now retired agent, Hildy Gottlieb, the great Hildy Gottlieb, had been sort of pushing me to work with Amelia Jones, like, for ages, said, is there a part for Amelia in anything? And so I was so happy to give her the part. Good. And I said, in fact, I think Hildy's coming to watch it tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys are really great in this scene.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think this is the scene, actually, I think is both of you are at your best in this scene. I mean, you're great all the way through the movie, Glenn, but I really love this sequence.
I just love how there were notes about, you know, everybody wants you to be likable and, you know, whatever. It's like, this is where you get to see Ben Richards' heart. You know, this is one that, you know, I really am so glad we fought for. Because I really do think this is the core of the movie. You know, I think it's the heartbeat.
Absolutely. I think this is the sort of the thesis of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's two people from two very different worlds stuck in a similar situation. You know, he's these very separate worlds. These two people disparate characters that you never think would find each other are stuck in a car in the most unlikely of circumstances. It's like what I think the wish fulfillment
living in different truths.
Yes.
And,
different
violently
truths. That's a great way to phrase it. Yeah. These guys were hilarious. I thought these guys were actually from, like, Alabama. They were full method.
Well, one of them is American.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard some different accents as soon as you called cut and you rapped them. I was like, wait a minute. They went full Daniel Day, but they were great.
I think Brandon is American and Graham was British. I also remember about shooting the sequence with them that we had to reshoot the explosion the next day, and they went straight from being shot to going to the airport. It's so weird. I think they had wrapped. It's such a weird thing. It's like no time to kind of like sort of decompress. Is like, let's get you guys shot and get you on the way to the airport.
Totally. That's how it always is. Hell of a way to wrap.
Great explosion.
This was I mean, this was shot. I think some of this was one of the very, very few, in fact, maybe the only green screen scene in the movie, some of this car dialogue, because there was a storm. And it was the one day we were inside. And I think it was actually really beneficial for us that it was a very intense scene that you guys could just focus on the performance. You didn't have to worry about car rigs or anything. But then it cuts between, I got to say, again, continuity on every level. Also, not just script supervision, but also just the lighting. Like Chung and Nate making it match, like going between location work and studio work. This is an amazing location in
Shout out to
go.
this bracelet of Amelia's.
Oh yeah,
The most expensive item anywhere in this movie that had like its own security guard.
it had its own. Yeah, absolutely. And like the diamonds were pinging off the windscreen and everything.
This is a whole issue.
Go Richards! This is you doing. Here's your third cameo, MB. You're doing the voice of this guy.
Hardest working man in show
Really?
business,
Yeah,
Michael
that's you.
Bacall.
You say, go to head. I think I'm in there a couple of times as well. Also, it was whenever, like, sort of, I think Julie, my girlfriend, did the voice of one of those people, because anytime there was an American coming past saying, hey, go in there and shout, Richards lives! So there's a lot of people doing vocal cameos in this. Yeah, this was, again, I think this is the last shooting day with the main crew. Some people had to wrap,
yeah.
like, it was Chung's last day for sure, and it was Richard Graysmark's last day, RAD, and I remember that because his name is Richard, and at the end of the shooting day when we wrapped, and we were saying thanks to the crew, the extras started, I said, pointed to RAD and said, his name's Richard, and so they went, Richard leaves! Richard leaves!
You're obviously the hero.
Trust me. I don't think we're gonna need this anymore.
Record and report. State your claim. Oh my God! I just saw Ben Richards. I'm sorry. Wait. I am Ben Richards.
I don't want to say anything bad about Bulgaria, because we had a good time there. It was an amazing location, but it was definitely a tough location as well. We happened to kind of shoot all that car stuff with like 3 cars on the road. It was really tough.
This was crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
This was, I think, the most stressed out you may have been on the whole thing, because this was
really?
where
I feel like most of the days are like that.
I gotta say, shout out to Edgar Wright, the hardest working filmmaker I've ever seen up close. There's not one easy day on the shoot, but this is a scene in which basically, because it was raining.
Oh yeah.
And the weather was so temperamental, we basically I had a take to shoot this. I mean, it's like a take each piece of coverage. Like we were just.
It was a pretty intense storm. Like full tents were lifting up and flying across.
We had to come back and shoot the rest of it like another day, and there was a storm coming that day as well.
Yeah.
The second day was actually one of your last days. Was the second day we shot, and we got through. I gotta say, weirdly, and not that I would ever ask for something like this, but the fact that there was a storm coming, it sort of added an intensity to the sequence. We were like, we got to rip through this fucking scene before the storm comes.
You can't overthink anything. You just had to do it.
You're so great in this sequence.
Naira and Leo doing amazing work, spotting art, or
the
A+ background.
Oh yes, putting all of the best A+ background right at the front. That's what I rely on Naira and Leo to kind of like sort of keep an eye on like the essays and put the best ones at the front, which they did. But what I love about this sequence is it's where you are finally leaning into the Ben Richards that's on TV.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun having a little more swagger, a little less on his back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
This was a industrial estate in Sofia. It's not actually an airport, so it's an amazing work by ILM in the background to sort of make it look like an airport. Because shout out to Lee Pace, passively aggressively cleaning his glasses, which is such a
he just makes like
such a
moments
cool
out of all of it. That's the best part about Lee. Is I'm telling you, it's like he doesn't need a face to make you just lean into his whole performance. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
No. You made me feel like I'm the bad guy.
This was something where actually that I think you said this, MB was like said, do we have a picture of the photo? And it's like that wasn't previously in the scene, and it kind of made the scene because we actually had this shot, of seeing the photo again.
Yeah, she was already kind of looking down.
She was already looking down, and we happened to have it. It was like one of those bits of kismet. Now this actually is an airport, and what was funny on this day, I think this is Sofia Airport. On the far side, you can see the real Sofia Airport. And then this side was like the military, like part of the airport.
Yes.
And all the way through, I don't know if it's okay to say this. I'm looking at Leo and Naira, but like it was always saying, don't forget to bring your passport. You've got to bring ID to the airport. They're not going to let you onto the location. And then it was so lax. It was like they didn't care. All they cared about was whether there were coffee cups Couldn't have any coffee cups on the set because a coffee cup can't go into a jet engine and cause a crash. But what an amazing location, though. My God.
We did find the, not the actual one, but the same type, the Rambo helicopter.
Oh, it was there?
It was in one of the hangars, and it was in pretty good shape, too.
I mean, this is a great, I got to say, I mean, listen, I'm only being sarcastic, but like Sofia, an incredible place to shoot. You know, we shot the last 6 weeks in Sofia because very diverse locations.
I mean, they let you do everything.
Within half an hour of the city,
you
kind of got everything. You've got like the deep woods, you got bridges, you got the airport, you've got industrial like locations. You kind of got everything. It was my first, not your second time shooting there, my first.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. I mean, the people of Sofia, they love movies.
Yeah.
You know, and they really like that. That's a nice thing. Nobody's jaded there. They're just really excited to have to open up their doors, let you shoot.
And then we go from a nice, windy, open location with fresh air to one of the more intense.
This set, dude, this plane
Does it give you a
sequence,
panic attack just thinking about it?
There's a little bit. There's a lot. But funniest thing was, this entire plane was built on a gimbal, right? To make sure it moved really and very dynamically, quick, violent things. And so what was interesting
Shout out to Steve Warner, the special effects department.
Unbelievable. I mean, how they built this was incredible. But because of the nature of taking the stairs off, people couldn't get on and off.
Yeah.
So you had an entire crew in the back just taking it all day for 12 hours, just rolling with this plane. I felt bad. So many people got sick.
Yeah, we did not have a FAA-approved air circulation.
No, this was tough.
I think also it's just something about being, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we just have that line about, the most relaxing flight of your life. But it is something about being on a set like this all day. It just sort of becomes really like, it's just anxiety-inducing. I mean, I had a couple of moments where I had to kind of like step off and just breathe. It was like, I mean, again, I wouldn't like necessarily welcome sort of like doing it, but it adds an intensity to the scene, doesn't it?
It is such an intense. I mean, there's also so many little pieces of story here. I mean, you have to commit to each beat. I think that's the other piece about it is that it's obviously one sequence, but every sequence the audience can't get ahead of you, so you have to kind of commit to each moment in a different way, and it's like. It was a lot. I mean, everybody's in it together. We knew it was going to be a monster, but I was really proud of how everybody showed up.
Oh, no. I mean, and then an incredible set by Marcus as well. Just like so fantastic, And Grant, like the art director, just like incredible work from everybody.
This was the sequence where you really feel, on the set at least, like people are really committed to this movie because it was late enough in the shoot where you're getting a little bit tired, and then you go into a kind of claustrophobic setting, but
there's also
amazing work.
It's such a dense like movie that like there was no let up between sequences. It's like, oh, we finally finished the plane sequence. What's tomorrow? Let's start the Elton sequence. Oh my God. It was like so every day really full on. I gotta say as well, I mean, I know that this was a sequence, Glenn, this bit's coming up, this and then the cockpit flight, but this specifically and your speech, I think it's probably some of the stuff that you just would it be fair to say just had the most kind of like, you were really building up to doing these moments.
Yeah,
Is there something you really, I mean, I wasn't worried about it, but I know you really wanted to get it right because we all knew that this was going to be great. But I know it was difficult for you.
It's an interesting thing as an actor. You sort of know that there are sort of pillars of the movie that you sort of have to stick the landing on. I mean, all this really is like the worst news on a Zoom call, right? and so it's really you're just left there with your own imagination and your own, own moments, and you really have to thread the thoughts. It's a lot of imagination work and. In the midst of the chaos of what we have to do in the sequence, you only have so much real estate to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's really about being able to quiet the noise and just, a really, again, what we talk about is like really commit to each like small sequence within the bigger sequence. And this is one of those that I just know that if you don't get it right, it's going to complicate a lot later on, So.
Well, this was something that was in right from the first draft, although with a slightly different outcome in the very first draft. But I know something that we talked about as a sort of not an inspiration, because it's kind of it's in the book as well. But there's the George C. Scott scene in the film Hardcore, where he has that reaction to kind of watching the film, which, he sees his daughter on it. And I guess not a similar scene, because there's two very different scenes, but an actor acting against not another actor, watching a screen, and basically like a reaction shot. And obviously our scene is different, but I always sort of remembered the intensity of that sequence in that movie. And I think maybe I showed it to you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Because it's just like George C. Scott's performance is so so intense. You're amazing in this sequence, because you're not, I don't think, we definitely didn't have this footage. You weren't looking at this.
I wasn't looking at anything. It was just,
you were looking right into the camera, which is very difficult to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Josh. Now we'll talk about when Josh is part of it, though, because that's another thing.
They had like that reflective box so he could see me. I was acting to Josh's coverage, but Josh had already wrapped like a month prior before we shot this scene. So
it's
Integratron?
The Integratron.
Integratron.
Errol Morris, the documentary filmmaker, created this thing where it's a mirror on the lens, so that you could look into the lens and see the reflection of the person talking to you, but just off camera. It's something I used on the Sparks Brothers documentary. And so it was a way that Josh Brolin could do all of his dialogue and essentially be looking at you.
It was so cool.
But you and I
did not benefit from
No.
that.
But I think you made the choice. You said, I don't. Well, also Josh had gone. But you didn't want to see his footage.
No.
It was easier for you to just look at the camera.
Yeah, imagination's more powerful in that sequence.
But you're also doing something very difficult, like it's worth saying on this commentary, like for people, maybe don't understand how things are shot. Very difficult to do something where you're looking straight at the lens.
Yeah.
You're acting to the lens and nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that feel?
You know what those moments look like on the day, and it's full commitment. It's just you up there. That's and that's, again, it's like just like how we were talking about before. Every department reads a script differently. My trainer Tim reads the towel scene. I'm reading this scene and going, okay, this scene, and then the final speech. These sort of have to. These are really hard to thread, really hard to land. So. Yeah, definitely a lot of anxiety for me around both of them.
Well, they are like, listen, you're not wrong to put pressure on yourself, because they are the scenes which the film's sort of success stands and falls on those moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Richards, you making coffee?
Yeah. How do you take it?
Now, this is an entirely different beast.
This was a mother.
Second set, second gimbal.
So
a different set as well.
Different set. No, actually, this was the real set.
There were two sets.
This was. We actually used the real set on this one, and this is where I started realizing I tackled him there. Realized that that the set was extremely sharp. That nothing was padded.
Yes.
And this is when I was like, okay, I got hit in the face really hard with that seat. Really realized I was like, all right, this may be a tougher set than I thought. And then we kept doing the fight sequence, and that's the one where it was a little bit long, and there's a lot happening. The whole crew is like talking. Some people, I don't think were able to communicate, shifting camera positions and whatnot. So
yeah. Well, I will say as well that one of the things about you that and this happened on a number of occasions where you are such a trooper that you don't want to complain. No. I'm not saying that. Now listen, I just want to say on record, I'm not saying it's your fault. But this is I remember this conversation I had with you more than once. This is a conversation that I had where you say, "Are you okay?" And you go, "Yeah."
Yeah, I took like full kicks in the face, and I was like, "I'm good."
But I think also it's like your commitment. I mean, you so wanted it to be everything. I mean, listen, I will say as well, like everybody worked really like hard on this sequence, and also the toughest thing, also we still had to finish the scene, and that was the stuff that was like tough. Like for me, it was like sort of like I really felt for you as like, well, we have to kind of go back and finish it, and also finish it well, and also I think you. I mean, I don't put words into your mouth, but you had been training for this and building up for this, and you wanted to like do your absolute best.
I want to do all my own stunts. I want to do it all myself. Yeah.
I think it's worth saying sort of as well, you know, on the track is that I think in terms of like moving forward through the rest of the shoot, we still have more than like almost half of the shoot to go. Is like it's really just a testament to everybody about how to kind of like sort of make it work from this point onwards.
Yeah. And you just tough it out, and it's a team sport, man. Everybody rallies and finishes it together, but it all works great.
You wanna know who's stopping you from seeing your kid again? Oh,
No, I mean this.
Oh, no. Richards has taken a savage blow, but he's still on.
Fuck up!
I love that beat.
That was a late addition because Coleman, we love the idea of Coleman commentating throughout this bit, but at a certain point we had to kind of stop him talking at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say something else.
It's
like,
great.
What, that shot?
Yeah.
Another super, super complicated thing about this sequence, with the many complicated things about this sequence, is the idea of having the cameras in the plane.
Oh my God.
A great idea, and like I really, really love how it finally looks, but it meant that we constantly had to have like a little camera shooting the TV the whole time. So we'd be shooting maybe with 2 cameras on the set, and usually have like another camera like on a, you know, on the end of a pole or something, like a pole cam. So if you see the TVs in the background that are shooting the other angle, we'd have to have those things going constantly. And it looks really cool, but it's a lot of work for everybody. So just you know, the attention to detail on every level here, camera, VFX, production design, just everything, you know?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And like, but I'm really... And then also you're into the whole special effects with like wind and things getting sucked out of the windows. This was a scene. Like the whole thing is just like, I mean, I'm really, really happy with the set piece. So it was like definitely one of the tougher set pieces in my career.
Well, as we're bleeding out and all the beautiful costumes are covered in blood, we should give Julian and Shida a shout out. What amazing costumes throughout this entire movie. And
well, I mean, you could talk about the costumes all day. One thing I'll say as well is what's really interesting to me is that your like hoodie, like as the base of like this kind of like green and red hoodie that then becomes like the final costume. It's something about it where you kind of like, at first it's like, it's just a normal hoodie, but it's got like a red collar. And it was something we talked about, me and Julian and Shida talked about tracking like the costume, something that you could track through the whole movie. But once you start to get into this final thing where you've got like the priest's jacket and the priest's trousers, but the hoodie, it just looks really like, it's so memorable.
Yeah.
And that's Ben Richards.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
It's a really hard thing, all the different layers and how that, you know, because you see the whole story on it, you know, on the costume, which is amazing.
A lot of discussion. I mean, not just costume and makeup, but also props. Going back to like Alex Boswell, and also like continuity, Lizzie again.
Yep.
Just in terms of figuring out MB, we had talked about this endlessly about like what jackets he got on, where's the camera, like what does he do with his bag, how do we get the rucksack with the zines?
Only got so many hands and shoulders to carry things on.
Yes, there's a whole thing of like, we have to have this rucksack with the zines in it to get, you know, for it to feature in the end.
I got to give a shout out to Charlie and Lids for also figuring out continuity of all the blood and all the.
Oh my god! I mean, so much work, so much work. It's just,
and it looks incredible. It looks painful.
Yeah. But this is the thing about this movie, which I'm amazed that we turn this all around in under a year, because just in a scene like this, you're just looking at all the moving parts here. You've got this cockpit set, you've got the lighting, you've got all of your costume and makeup, and then on TV there's like Coleman in the studio and Josh in a separate studio, and it's just like another Russian doll sequence, as me and Paul would call it, of just editing this stuff together, and then this advert.
On a tarmac in Bulgaria.
That kind of looks like sort of Joe Kosinski shot that bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Joe's cameo directing moment.
Did you kill him or not, Dan?
That's me saying fuck you, Dan.
Is that right?
Yeah. I recorded it several times, and unfortunately, one of our sound mixers and dialogue editor is Dan Morgan, so it always felt weird. Like we eventually, when we did the final take in the sound mixer, Delane Lee, it needed to be further away, so I stood the other side of the stage from him, and he stood there, and I said, Dan, I need you to stand there whilst I shout, fuck you, Dan! But that's me saying that. Shout out to Dan Morgan. And in fact, our incredible, oh my God, just the post team as well. This is the whole, it takes an army. Yeah. What is it? No, what is the phrase?
Takes a village.
Takes a village.
In our case, takes an army.
Wait, what's the phrase? It takes a village to...
Raise a child.
What's the army thing I'm thinking of? I'm going to say both. It takes an army. It takes an army of artists to make a movie. It's just insane. It's so many. I mean, you're going to see all their names in about 10 minutes.
Glenn, really appreciate all the thought put into some of these longer bits of dialogue, and really
this was really fun to collaborate
the
with
essential
you on
elements.
Your performance on this take is like gives me the chills.
Same.
Like you're looking right down the lens. It's so cool. It's so great. It's just like this particular part of it. Like you doing the speech and Steve Price's score, like ramping up, gives me the chills.
Well, it's just awesome. It's just a testament to you guys in terms of the collaboration, because as an actor in these moments, you want to stick the landing, but sometimes it doesn't feel emotional. Sometimes it's not. It's hard to thread, and so the fact that we got to be inside of each other's brains and hearts in terms of what was really gonna make this moment work. I really appreciate you guys bringing me into the fold on it. It was.
Oh no! I mean, I think this was for various reasons. Like the monologue was one of the last things you shot in the plane, right?
Yeah.
And it was like you said, it's one of those anchoring scenes. It's the scene that you've been waiting to do, or maybe
chomping at the bit,
chomping at the bit and dreading the entire shoot. But you pulled it off marvelously. Yeah. It's so good. It's like this sort of I love this. This is that was our little reference to the BBC newsreader who accidentally gave the finger live on air. Which is an amazing clip if you look it up. Put BBC One newsreader gives the finger live on TV. Shout out to that lady. It's an incredible thing.
Look at what you've done.
Also, this is a thing I think in terms of talking about the sort of the adaptation is the Richard Bachman Stephen King book from 1982 has an infamously nihilistic ending, which I think when we went into this, it wasn't even like the studio said we couldn't do it. We knew we weren't going to do the ending from the book for various reasons. If you haven't read the book, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but people who have read the book understand why. But I'm really happy with this ending because it's a way of alluding to it and kind of keeping, the sort of the spirit of the ending, but in a different way. And I got to say, and then the Apostle was something. Again, the second one was there right from the start in the first draft.
I love seeing this, and when we did like the screen test, watching Daniel do this was really magical. I was like, oh, this is such a unique swing. I love it.
You know what? We shouted out to Carl Glusman's self-tape. We should shout out to Daniel Ezra's as well.
Yeah.
Talk about that, MB.
Great work. Well, I think our first set of auditions didn't have anything from the Apostle.
That's right.
And we're like, I think we should let's get something. Because I think we already liked Daniel and just wanted to see his take on it, and he crushed it. out of the gate, of course.
I want to say he was shooting at the LA Zoo or something. It was definitely Griffith Park, right?
Yeah.
He basically shot the whole of the Apostle thing on his own, and it was so cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, there's so much work just in these montages. My God.
It's like insane.
I mean, it was on the last day of the shoot. I mean, if you're people listening to this, you have to understand. Yeah, we did stand there and shoot like 15 photocopiers. Not the most exciting part of the shoot, but we had to do it. It was important. And also all this graffiti as well. This was all been done by like the B and C cameras on the last couple of days of the shoot. Just like endlessly shooting graffiti. Oh my God.
This is such good work.
Yeah, this I think as well, like this whole sequence. I mean, we had Paul Matchless, our amazing editor, obviously did incredible work on the entire film. And then actually we had 2 additional editors just doing Apostle stuff, like both Dave Webb and Jerry Ramsbottom, like, because those Apostle sequences are so dense. And it was like the one thing in the movie me and Paul were happy to let somebody else like take over and say, hey, have a go at this. This was, I want to say, was the first day of the shoot? Am I right? One of the first days. One of the first days. This was shot at Battersea Power Station, and we shot a new part of it as well, just a slightly extended part, like in the additional photography. But for various reasons, because of this location, and we had to shoot on a Sunday. This was one of the first things you shot, Glenn, I think, right? Yep. And then this we came to later. This one shot here that we extended this a little bit. That is their real dad. So when she's looking up here, I'm ruining the movie magic here, but she's reaching up, basically like her dad. I want to say Chris. He basically sort of pulled the mask. He showed them his face and then pulled the mask up. So the baby, I want to say that's probably Alyssa. Usually right. Alyssa.
Usually Alyssa.
Was kind of like waiting to pull her dad's mask down. This is a combination of the original scene and some additional, because we wanted to give Bobby a bit more of a meatier send-off. So actually this little bit where he gets the guns pulled on him was
such a great Coleman moment. Another, just how he makes a meal out of everything. I just love it.
I just like him saying, sweeties, please.
Yeah. You saw this really clearly.
I know.
When we were talking about it. You were like, okay, this is exactly what we need here.
Yeah, I think it was like the clause line and the sort of, it was, but then this was all, I mean, this stuff here, like shooting this stuff. It's funny, Coleman actually, when he walked off set, like just then, he again went straight to the airport. And then, well, you know what's funny is that all this stuff here, I took a video of all of this, and when Coleman was at the airport, I took some footage of the riot and I sent it to Coleman, and I said, Coleman, it's all gone to shit after you wrapped. And sent him like footage of this. I mean, this was crazy.
This was chaos.
This was crazy.
Also, the amount of fire inside this studio was wild. I mean,
like Molotovs going off.
I mean, when I end up, in a second, you'll see me walk up, but like, they had to cover me with all the fire retardant gel and all that stuff before when I throw it here. So I had to walk through literally the fire.
Oh yeah, you
try
walked,
not to blink.
Yeah, you literally. Johnny Cash would be proud. Yeah, this was, I mean, this shot here, I remember like shooting that and thinking, yes, here we go. Now we did actually, this is like, was always the ending, but in the original like sort of cut, I wouldn't say it ended on a more ambiguous note, MB, but it was like.
I think it did.
But it was still like, it was obvious what was about to happen, but it felt like the audience had wanted, it's not like they wanted closure. But they wanted something else, and the extras. Originally, in the first preview, you said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You did the countdown, but we didn't see you say it, and that was the key thing that we think if we get that on camera, and we already had that thing of Josh I love Josh's little smile.
So good.
His little smile of like when the countdown runs down and then he smiles as if to say, hey.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
Can we talk? What was the line that we always said he's about to say? Is like, hear me out.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Also love this post-credits thing. This is
God.
really, really smart.
This was something, actually, I remember having this idea about the end credits because this was always there in the zines, like the truth was always in the draft, But we were standing in the Elton set.
Yeah.
In Elton's kind of like, secret room. And our amazing graphics department, shout out to Sophie Powell and many others, had done all this amazing artwork around the walls. And there's Sophie Powell, lead graphic designer, and Sam as well, Sam Morley. They'd done all of this artwork, and it was in the background of the shot. And I was just thinking, man, there is so much work in this truth scene.
Yeah.
And I said to Marcus, we need to scan all of this stuff. Maybe it could be the end credit sequence. And that was like months and months before we actually did it. And then we actually ended up adding stuff because we needed more for the whole end credits. It also originally, like right from the start, you both of you remember this, that the original ending was Peter Gabriel's Games Without Frontiers.
Yeah.
And I love that song dearly. It's one of my girlfriend's favorite songs as well, but it was a little bit too dark. And not dark is the wrong word. It was maybe just a bit like, not kind of one to send people out on a high, because it's kind of a pretty dark sort of song. And weirdly enough, the Tom Jones song had already appeared in the Taxi Driver scene. And I remember playing you the Tom Jones song, Glenn, and I think I said, this would actually be a pretty killer end credit song.
Yeah.
Do you remember me saying that?
Of course, dude. I was like, I lost my mind. I was like, this is so sick. It's perfect.
But it's funny.
It was always on my playlist though for listening, like my Running Man playlist.
The thing is that I knew, talking about soundtrack things, and a lot of I gotta give credit to MB sitting right here to my right, that a lot of the songs in the movie, like Sly Stone and like the Rolling Stones Heartbreaker, you were in your first draft. Some people say to me, how did you get the idea for Sly and the Family Stone? I said, it was Michael Bacall's idea. But I would say...
We got a mind meld.
We had a mind meld. I will say, the funny thing about the Tom Jones song is I always thought, we can't use Keep On Running by the Spencer Davis Group. It's too obvious. But then there's this Tom Jones cover, which really has never been in a movie before. I was thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. This is cool. So it ended up being the thing.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Thank you both for nearly killing yourself to make this movie.
Oh my God, and you. all three of us, I think.
Man,
oh my God, it's exhausting to watch.
We all made it through. But yeah, I mean, this is a serious amount of work. I think this is the most impressed I've ever been with an entire crew really putting themselves through the paces to make something extraordinary. Every single shot was slaved over, and just everybody just worked their ass off. It's a feat. A movie like this, to make it in this way, to not just hose it down with coverage, but to be, every shot was constructed.
Precise.
And every, it's just the amount of work that you see that goes into all of it. It's just so impressive. But I'm glad we all made it out.
I mean, it should go without saying, but you can't make a movie without an incredible crew. And cast, and as we see all these names whizzing past us, these are all the people who make the film what it is. And like you said, every second, every frame is slaved over, and we owe it all to the hard-working cast and crew on this movie. So, little round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause for
thank you.
Not for us. We're not self-congratulating ourselves.
No.
We're congratulating everybody else. Listen, I mean, I think we covered maybe about a 20th of the making of the movie, but I hope it was helpful and therapeutic for you, as it was for us.
We enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.